In today's fast-paced world, your brain is under constant siege by a relentless barrage of distractions. Between the ping of notifications, the pressure of deadlines, and an endless to-do list, your attention is pulled in a million different directions at once. However, there exists an ancient method rooted in Eastern philosophy known as the Lotus method, which offers a way to silence this external noise. By applying these teachings, you can transform scattered thoughts into a laser-like focus, finally allowing you to conquer your objectives. Many people miss this opportunity and remain trapped in distraction forever, but those who understand this philosophy can fundamentally change their lives by freeing their potential. Consider the example of Gohan, an individual who represents the potential within all of us. He has clear dreams. He wants to get into shape, excel in his career, and improve his personal relationships. Yet, every time he prepares to take action, something stops him. It isn't a lack of motivation. He watches the videos, listens to the podcasts, and reads the self-improvement books, but when the moment to act arrives, his mind resists. Instead of working toward his goals, he finds himself mindlessly scrolling through his phone. Every time he plans something important, his brain pulls him toward comfort and ease, trapping him in a painful cycle of procrastination and self-doubt. Gohan is aware of what is happening, but he feels powerless to break free. This struggle is not unique to Gohan. It is a universal human condition. The mind is naturally programmed to avoid discomfort. Whenever we face a challenge that feels difficult, unknown, or intimidating, the brain instinctively seeks safety in distractions like social media, gaming, or even daydreaming. Gohan realizes that temporary bursts of motivation are not enough. He needs something more profound and grounded. In Eastern philosophy, the mind is often compared to a wild monkey leaping from one branch to another to avoid anything difficult. As the Buddha taught, an unsupervised mind can cause more harm than any external enemy. Gohan's own thoughts are sabotaging him by constantly steering him away from his true desires and toward immediate gratification. The ancient monks understood this internal battle and developed methods to tame the mind, bringing it into a state of clarity and calm. They taught that the first step to overcoming resistance is not to fight it with brute force, but to develop awareness. The mind resists because it thinks it is protecting us from the pain of hard work. By becoming aware of this programming, Gohan learns to be less hard on himself. This is the first lesson of the Lotus method. Before you can change your mind, you must first understand it. Instead of trying to crush his resistance like a steamroller, Gohan learns to observe his thoughts without judgment, acknowledging his mind's role as a misguided protector. Once awareness is established, the Lotus method moves into the phase of embracing the flow of life. Gohan discovers that forcing himself to work harder only increases his internal tension. He looks to the teachings of Lao Tzu and the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or the art of non-resistance. Wu Wei suggests moving with the rhythms of life rather than fighting against them. Lao Tzu's teaching, "Let it go and everything works out," initially confuses Gohan, but he eventually realizes that his constant struggle was actually a fight against his own nature. By aligning himself with the natural current of effort, he finds he can achieve more with less strain. He stops viewing difficult tasks as enemies and starts seeing them as part of a natural process. By applying Wu Wei, Gohan learns to approach training, work projects, and personal challenges with ease, transforming his life from a state of constant conflict into one of focused, harmonious action. Gohan pauses to remind himself not to resist difficulty, but to accept it as a natural part of life's flow. By embracing challenges rather than fighting them, he releases his inner struggle, making tasks that once felt heavy and burdensome feel significantly lighter. This shift allows him to move with a newfound sense of calm, marking the next phase of the Lotus method, releasing resistance to find harmony in effort. However, Gohan soon realizes that going with the flow is only the beginning. He must also learn to cultivate stillness and reflection to deepen his journey and quiet his restless mind. When Gohan discovers Zen Buddhism and the concept of Zazen, or seated meditation, the idea initially seems simple. Yet, as he attempts to sit in silence, he discovers how difficult it is to remain still while his mind races. Accustomed to constant action and the belief that doing more is the solution, he finds wisdom in the teachings of Master Dogen, who taught that the truth is found exactly where one stands. Gohan begins to understand that true strength and clarity come from stillness rather than constant advancement. As he practices Zazen, his chaotic mind begins to settle like a wind-disturbed lake, turning glassy and calm. In this silence, he realizes that his challenges are not insurmountable obstacles, but opportunities for growth, and that his previous urge to do was actually what made his tasks feel so difficult. This cultivation of stillness represents the third step of the Lotus method. Much like the roots of a lotus flower buried in the mud provide the foundation for a pure bloom, Gohan sees that his own stress and anxiety are the mud that nourishes his personal growth. However, stillness alone is not enough. Drawing inspiration from the Shaolin monks, Gohan learns that mental clarity must be paired with physical discipline. The monks believed in a profound connection between the mind and body. If the mind is still, the body can act with intention. Gohan realizes he must translate his reflection into purposeful, intentional action, the fourth step of the method. Instead of being scattered, he begins to tackle tasks one at a time with the precision and patience of a martial artist, finding that even the most daunting projects become manageable when approached with deliberate energy. Despite this progress, Gohan eventually faces a final hurdle: impatience. When results do not appear as quickly as he expects, frustration begins to mount. He returns to the symbol of the lotus, which grows slowly through thick mud and never rushes its blooming process. Gohan realizes that progress cannot be forced, and that rushing only creates more resistance. By embracing the art of patience, he finally masters his mind and achieves a sense of peace he has never experienced before. His journey serves as an invitation to others. Whether through practicing stillness, applying intentional action, or learning patience, growth will inevitably come in its own time.